If you're looking at buying a home in Columbia, South Carolina, today I'm breaking down what it's really going to cost you to buy the home that you want. We'll keep a rolling tab of the cost as we move through all the pieces of the puzzle. I'm basing my figures on the average sales price of a home here in Columbia, which is currently around $265,000. Let's talk about escrow fees or earnest money. When you write your offer, you're going to offer the seller earnest money, which is kind of like an initial small security deposit. It goes against the purchase price of the home and it shows how earnest or eager you are to buy the home and play by the terms of the contract. For my clients, I analyze your specific situation and I will guide you in how much to offer for earnest money so that you are showing that you're serious without putting yourself into a potentially compromising situation if something goes wrong. You can reasonably expect earnest money to be at least $1,000 here in Columbia. The amount given is going to vary and it depends on a combination of factors like the price of the home, the current market conditions, the kind of financing that you're getting, as well as your own individual financial situation and whether there are competing offers. Your earnest money is held in a trust account until it's credited back to you at closing. It's going to be applied to any funds that you need to bring towards your down payment and your closing costs and your prepaids that you're going to have to pay on the day of closing. For a $265,000 home, I would expect earnest money to be somewhere in the $1,000 to $2,000 range. Inspection fees. If you're buying a home, you should absolutely be doing inspections to protect yourself. Inspection fees are paid at the time of service when the inspection is completed. And here in Columbia, South Carolina, they happen within the first 2 weeks after you put a home under contract. There are 3 inspections that are a no-brainer for every home here, and that's going to be a general home inspection, a termite inspection, and a heating and air inspection. If the home you're buying has special features like a well or septic tank, maybe a pool or a fireplace, then you should be prepared for your fees to increase depending on what else needs to be inspected by a separate professional. You can expect fees to be around $350 for a home inspection, $150 per unit for a heating and air inspection, and $150 for a termite inspection. You also might have additional fees for reinspection of repairs before your closing. If the seller makes any repairs for you, you're going to want to bring your inspectors back out to confirm that these repairs were made and that they were made properly. Plan to pay between $100 and $125 per inspector for each reinspection. Adding up our fees for home, termite, and heating and air inspections, tacking on a little extra for a reinspection, it's reasonable to plan to pay at least $800 for all the recommended inspections. And just keep in mind that price can go up based on if you need additional re-inspections or if you have some specialized inspections that you need to do on other aspects of the home. Down payment. This is the area where I see the biggest misconceptions from home buyers. With all the technology and internet access we have, a lot of buyers still think that you need to have 20% down to buy a home, and that just simply is not true. The options for home buyers today can include 0 down payment to as much as only 5%. Yes, that is right. There are options as low as 0 to as much as 5% down. There are also programs that will cover your minimum down payment requirement in the form of a grant that might even be forgivable if you live in the home long enough. The best way to find out who offers these programs is to speak with a knowledgeable realtor and let them connect you with the local lender who offers the right program for your specific home buying situation. For a buyer, getting an FHA loan and putting the minimum down at 3.5% on a $265,000 home, you're looking at a total down payment of $9,275. Closing costs and prepaids. Closing costs are the fees that are associated with getting a loan and working with an attorney to close on a home. Closing costs are going to include things like a survey and an appraisal, credit checks and your attorney and underwriting fees, discount points if you're going to buy down your interest rate. You'll have title insurance, title search fees, origination fees, and possibly some special program fees if you are participating participating in any kind of a loan that has a funding fee, for example. There are also quite a few other small odds and ends like overnight fees and flood certification fees that are going to get passed along to you. Prepaids are recurring annual expenses that you're going to have as a homeowner, and a portion of those need to be paid in advance of closing. Things like mortgage interest, homeowners insurance, dues for the homeowners association, and property taxes. Your lender is going to provide you with a more precise estimate of these costs when you're going through your pre-approval process, and again before you make an offer on a home, so that you can be fully prepared for what you're going to owe at closing. You do have some control over the cost here. Who you use for insurance, your mortgage, and your closing attorney is going to impact your total cost. Now, I am not advocating that you use the cheapest option out there at all, but you do need to be mindful of the fees and the rates that you're being charged. Every lender, every loan program is going to have different fees, and insurance rates are going to vary from one provider to another. And closing attorneys can also vary in their costs by a couple $100. On a $265,000 home, you can reasonably expect your closing cost and prepaids to be around $6,500 total. The most important thing to remember is that these costs can vary, and they can go higher or lower based on who you choose to work with, what loan program you use, and if you try to negotiate with the seller to cover some of these expenses. Let's do a quick recap of the cost again. We have earnest money at $1,000, and we're counting this as a credit because you're paying this in advance. Our inspections are going to be around $800. Our down payment, $92.75. Closing costs and prepaids, $6,500, for a grand total of $15,575. I'm Bethany, a realtor here in Columbia, South Carolina with the Geary Group at Keller Williams. My team and I would love to help you with your home search, so be sure to check the description for more resources and my contact information. To learn more about the Columbia area, watch this next video about different areas of Columbia and see which one might be right for you.